Jacqueline, and I am back answering your questions. Today, I want to answer a really important question because, hey, I don't know, is your life imperfect? Has some crazy shit happened this year, this week? Will continue to happen in the upcoming weeks? Yes, definitely. So the question is, how to stay consistent with when life gets in the way. So it's gonna be good things like vacation or family visiting, or not so great things where your country maybe it feels really unstable, or there's a lot of stuff happening on the news, on the media, in the media, and you're like, oh, you're like glued to the screen, right? Like all of these things that can like shake that goal that you're working on. You kind of stop showing up, you stop doing the thing because that thing seemed more important. That thing, I need to know what's happening, or I need to do this thing for someone else, or I can't show up for myself. Let's pretend post pandemic when we all can travel and whatever, right? So yeah, we're gonna talk about the good things and the not so great things. So how to stay consistent. The first thing that we want to do is we want to have a solid aspirational identity. So what I want you to do is I want you to focus on who you are being, not the thing that you're getting. So let me give you an example. Who you're being. So who you're being, I'm the type who, it can start with like an I am statements, like I'm the type of person who, or I am someone who, or I am a blank. That's, you're describing yourself. I am. So who you're being, it might be like, I am the type of person who eats healthy meals. I am the type of person who exercises. I'm the type of person who meditates. I am a yogi. I do yoga. I am a runner. So who are you being? What you're getting is, losing 20 pounds, or I don't know, eating 1,500 calories, or if you're someone who's starting a blog or a podcast, aspirational identity is a consistent content creator. What you're getting, you might be thinking about views or listens, that number, that statistic, or money in your pocket. Oh, I'm going to make, $1 million this year, instead of focusing on who are you being, right? Why do we want to make this shift? Because when life happens, you're going to stop focusing on that thing in the future, and you want to focus on, well, what can you do today? What do you do today when life is imperfect, when shit falls apart, when good stuff happens, good surprises happen, right? Who is that person you're being when all of those imperfect things about life happen? If you have a solid aspirational identity, you're good to go. Oh no, we're on vacation? Well, it's okay, because I am the type of person who takes care of their body. And the type of person who takes care of their body still does a workout in the morning, still eats vegetables throughout the day, still drinks water before drinking coffee, right? So that's the type of person. But if you're only focusing on a weight loss scheme, when it's vacation, you're like, I'm not doing that anymore. You're still identifying as the old self, just the old self trying to pretend to like get this, trying to get this external thing instead of like focusing on who you are being in the day to day. So you want to have a solid aspirational identity. How do we make it solid? You write it every day. You write it every day. You write it every day. This is gonna, if it's foreign to you because you've been doing things a certain way for the last decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, whatever it's been. So focusing on who you're becoming and who you're being is really important. Get those reps in by writing it every morning. Put Post-its around your house. Put it on your phone. Like, you have to, if you want to change who you're being, you're going to need lots of reminders. That's how we create this solid aspirational identity to help you stay consistent when life gets in the way. If your aspirational identity is like, kind of, sort of, you're not going to stay consistent when shit hits the fan, when things go imperfectly. You're going to be like, oh, whatever, I'm not showing up anymore. Number 2, in order to stay consistent, even when life gets in the way, you need to set boundaries, and you need to teach them to yourself and to others. A lot of times people will say things like, oh, my husband or my wife convinces me to blank. You know, they're eating 8 slices of pizza, so I'm going to do it too. So you need to set those boundaries for yourself. Like, the only person that you are in control of is yourself. You are not in control of what other people do or say or think or whatever. You are only in control of yourself. You need to set those boundaries. So even if so and so is having 8 slices of pizza, even if so and so is staying up until 2 a.m., even if so and so, like, let's pretend you're on vacation and so wants to leave the Airbnb at 9 a.m. so that they, you know, you can go and start your vacation life. It's like, cool, you need to be the one that sets that boundary and says, hey, even though we're going to leave at 9, I'm going to wake up at 6 and I'm going to take that time for myself. This is important. This supports my aspirational identity, me being this person, even when we're on vacation. And here's the thing is, like, if you get pushback from someone else, oh, do you really have to do that today? Do you really have to we're on vacation. Why do you have to do that? You have to be the one that says, like, actually, I'm doing this because it's important to me. I'm doing this because it helps me. It helps my mental health. It helps my physical health. And without your mental health and your physical health, you don't really have very much going on. So you have to be the one who sets that boundary and teaches it to others and to yourself. Like, you have to be the one that's like, this is actually really important. Other people are not going to uphold boundaries if you don't. They're not going to listen to those boundaries. It's a fake boundary. You're like, oh, it's kind of sort of there. It's like, it's a flimsy fence. It doesn't actually mean anything. So you have to teach it to yourself that this actually matters, and you have to teach it to the other people that are in your life. A lot of times we'll feel resentment towards others, but it's like, wait, but that person, like, you didn't do the work. You didn't set the boundary. Don't be mad at the other person for giving a little pushback. Like, cool, you need to set that boundary and teach it to them. And then, I mean, like, people will treat you the way you teach them to treat you. So if you want respect, you need to teach them to respect your boundaries. And then number 3, a lot of people hate this. I hated it too. You have to become a morning person. You have to befriend mornings. I don't know how else you are going to change who you are being in this world, in your life, unless you befriend mornings. I used to be a night owl. I think that naturally I prefer to just stay up late. Naturally, I like procrastinating. I don't like having to do stuff in the morning. I like pressing snooze, but I needed to become a morning person. There's no way for me to get my life in order unless I start tackling the important things in the morning. It's really important too, because we don't know. Once you turn on the television, once you turn on your phone, you open the newspaper, blah, blah, you start consuming the outer world, and you start to see, like, shit, there's like a lot of shit going down. You've taken that time away from yourself. You said that that's more important. And, like, we don't know what's going to happen the rest of the day, the rest of the afternoon, the rest of the evening. So you need to take that time for yourself, because who knows what's going to happen later in the day. When I was a teacher, we would talk about, you know, you got to do the most important thing first thing in the morning. You don't know what's going to happen the rest of the day. You don't know if there's going to be like a fire alarm or like a surprise visitor, or like, you really don't know. So get the most important stuff done first thing in the morning. And then additionally, your energy, you have less energy as the day goes on. Your willpower wanes. It's a lot harder. Like, if you're like, cool, I want to be healthy, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to do it at 8:30 p.m. Good luck. It would be so much better if you actually started off your day by prioritizing exercise, saying exercise really helps me feel better. I'm going to make sure I do it in the morning so it actually happens every day. It's going to be able, you have more control over your mornings than you do as the day goes on. As the day goes on, people are pulling at you, people need things, you're opening yourself up to more people and more things, and that's great. We need people to be of service to other people for sure. That's how society works. Like, but like, if you don't dedicate that time to yourself in the morning, it's really, really hard to change your life. And again, it goes back to aspirational identity. If you take that time for yourself in the morning, the hours that come after that morning, it's like, that's affirming who you are being, how you are showing up during those hours, the decisions that you make, the thoughts that you think, blah, blah, blah. So take that time in the morning. And then the last part, it's super, super tiny. Do something, anything, instead of all or nothing. So how do we stay consistent when life gets in the way? Okay. Do something, anything instead of all or nothing. So let me go back to the example of like, let's just pretend that you were on vacation and you don't have all of your workout equipment. Usually we're like, cool, I'm not going to exercise on vacation. I do all of the healthy stuff when I'm at home, and I do none of the healthy stuff when I'm on vacation. Cool, that doesn't really pan out so well. Instead of doing nothing while you're on your vacation, do something, anything. Maybe that looks like doing a 15-minute workout. Maybe that looks like taking a 15-minute walk in the morning. Maybe that looks like a 5-minute laying in child's pose for 5 minutes when you don't even need any equipment for that to lay in child's pose. But that like counts like, cool, that was something I did for my body. Anything. That was anything I did for my body instead of putting up a 0. So every time that you do a habit, it's like, it's a rep. It's, I love in Atomic Habits, he talks about it being a vote for who you're being. Okay. So if every day you put in a vote for this aspirational identity, that starts to become who you are. It stops being an uphill battle and it just becomes who you are. So if on vacations you're like, cool, like maybe I'm not going to run 26 miles while we're on vacation. Maybe I'm not going to do the 45-minute, jumping up and down burpee workout. Maybe I'm just going to stretch for 5 minutes. This was really helpful, this something, anything, when we were in Thailand for our honeymoon. Remember when you could travel? Oh, travel. What can I say? We were in Thailand for our honeymoon 2.5 years ago. And that was like when I was really, when I built my meals, it was like veggie, protein, carb. Okay, cool. We're like walking around. Sometimes it was hard to find vegetables while on vacation. And that's why I kind of had to switch it to like, Jacqueline, just find any plant. Any plant. We were there for 3 weeks. Can't go 3 weeks without eating some sort of plant, like a raw vegetable, a raw fruit. So it was like, cool. I could find plants. I could find something. And maybe it didn't look exactly like how I would eat at home, but like, yeah, I could find fresh fruit to eat. Or I think we went to like some coffee shops and found like a boxed salad or something, anything. My body needed a vegetable. It's really hard to travel for 3 weeks if you don't actually eat vegetables. You feel sluggish, you feel terrible. But really, honestly, like doing that, doing something, getting that rep in, it solidified that identity of like, I'm a person who takes care of their body. Even when we are on vacation, on our honeymoon, when other people might be like, cool, like drink your head off every day and eat all of the carbs and all of the fried food, blah, blah, blah. It turns out that doesn't actually feel all that great for 3 weeks. And that thing that's supposed to be fun turns to like, wow, I kind of feel crappy. So how did I take care of myself while we're in Thailand? I found water. I found, some sort of plants to eat. Now when I travel, I bring, what do you call it? Amazing Grass, the little, I bring like a little tub of like green powder. So even if it's really hard to find vegetables or fruit or whatever, I know that I always have like a little green tub and I can have that in the morning when we're traveling. So maybe I'm not getting a giant salad in, but I know that I can have that. Or I'll bring like some sort of protein bar, or if we're traveling, we do road trips a lot because of the dog and the pandemic, but like we'll hop at a grocery store and get like easy vegetables or easy fruit, like apples or like baby carrots, something, anything. Are these super glamorous things? No, they're not, but getting that rep in, it solidifies that aspirational identity. I'm the type of person who takes care of their body, even when we're on vacation. I think going back to also, I have my clients do a self-care session in the morning, and it's like, how do we do a self-care session? Usually it takes about 40-ish minutes, depending on how long you want to draw it out. But it's like, cool, like what if your family is visiting? How can maybe you don't have the 40 minutes. Maybe you're a mom and you have like a newborn. Okay, maybe you don't have 40 minutes. Can you take 5 minutes for yourself? Can you read 1 page a day? Can you do 10 push-ups or 10 squats? Can you do something, anything to support this aspirational identity that you want for your life? And stop pushing it off 5 years from now. Stop pushing it off until for when life settles down. Because if 2020 and 2021 has taught us anything, life is not going to just magically settle down. We have to be the ones that are like, okay, cool, that's a mess over there, but here's what I can control. Here's what I want for my life. I value my life. I value, my health, my happiness. This is what I can do. And doing that is going to help you show up you're literally showing up for yourself, and it's going to help you be in the relationships that you're in with your kids, with your husband, with your wife, with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your roommates. It's going to help you be a better person when you show up to work, right? Just imagine if we all of us, even like little kids, if we just took that time for ourselves in the morning before we started rushing off and doing things for other people, before we started commuting, whatever, but like we just took that time for ourselves, we would feel calmer at the end of the session. We would feel calmer, and we would just feel more full as we're going through the day. We would be able to pour from your cup. I hate that cliche, but seriously, like, you would be able to give more and do more for other people if you took that time for yourself. So I think, but that solid aspirational identity, let me go back to that, and let me give you a few that I've used, and they shift. Like, you're like, okay, cool, like that didn't really work, let me like shift it. But in some others that my clients use. So for me, part of the reason that I am showing up every day and creating content, creating videos, creating podcasts, getting stuff out to people, is my aspirational identity is I am the type of person who shows up joyfully and consistently in her business. That aspirational identity has gotten me to joyfully and consistently show up, right? It's like literally written into that. When I've had goals, I want to get this many podcast downloads. I want to make this much money. I want to sign this many clients. It's never panned out. I'm always just like picking some arbitrary number in the air and like, this is how it's going to be. It's never worked out. What if I just take on this aspirational identity, show up and do the reps? Let's see what happens this year. There's going to be a big shift, right? So for you, instead of, I want to lose 25 pounds this year, or I want to blank, instead of picking this random number, this random goal that you have like no reason that you picked that, it's just something you picked. Let's start with an aspirational identity of, I'm the type of person who shows up for herself every day. I take time for myself. I'm the type of person who puts herself first and then puts the world second. That's not selfish. That's actually going to help you and help the world. I'm the type of person who consistently and joyfully shows up for herself. I'm the type of person who fills their cup first, right? You're going to have to see what words actually make sense to you. Some of these words might feel like, no, that sounds really stupid, Jacqueline. I'm not going to do that. Pick what makes sense to you, what's your vocabulary, and then write it down. Like, write it down. I have mine. It's like up here. Like, it's literally right there. I write that every single morning. And you know what that does? Because I think I said, like, my natural self, like, I just sleep in bed. I will just lay in bed and not do anything and just be depressed and hate life. Like, that, unfortunately, has been my natural, like, what I've gotten in my adult life without implementing these systems, right? Just depressed and not doing shit. Wonderful. This sucks, right? So what I have to do for myself is write that aspirational identity every day. My aspirational identity, who I'm working on becoming. Joyful and consistent person who shows up. Some evidence that I'm already being that person. I'm showing up. I'm doing the work. For you, aspirational identity. Type of person who shows up and consistently takes care of themselves. Some evidence. I ate a vegetable with lunch today. I took a lunch today. I took time for myself today, right? So this, like, if you take anything from this, stop doing goals. Stop doing resolutions. Stop doing to-do lists of like 8 million random self-care habits that end up just adding stress. Start with a solid aspirational identity, and then just pick like one thing that you can do today and tomorrow and the next day to support yourself being that person. And the last thing, I should have written it up here, but like number 5, the last thing, how to stay consistent when life gets in the way. Reach out for help. You can send me a message. You can comment below. You can email me at coachjacqueline@jacquelinericcio.com, and I can help you. I can guide you. Learn from all the shit that I've learned over the last 6 years and help this be your reality now instead of waiting 6 months. Make it your reality now. Take care.